Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, back from the stamp show and ready to show you what I bought. I thought about doing this live, but my voice is kind of hoarse and I tend to get chatty and gappy with you guys when we go live, so I didn't want to turn what should be a 20-minute haul video into an hour-long live stream. And I'm always worried about my internet and whether you'll really be able to see the detail in the stuff that I'm showing you, so I just decided to do it recorded. I always have a bit of a hoarse voice after I get back from a stamp show, just from the city air and all the gabbing that I do with the wonderful community members that I get to meet when I'm out and about. And it was just a wonderful class. I did 2 classes on Friday and then shopped Saturday and Sunday at the show, and it was so much fun to see everybody. And I think without further ado, we're just going to go into the haul and I'll show you what I bought. Okay, like I mentioned, I teach classes on Friday. The show doesn't open till Saturday, and we usually come down Thursday afternoon if I'm teaching, so I have time to get there and get settled and whatnot. And so after we arrived, we decided we'd go to eat, and then we go see what kind of craft stores were in the area. And we actually found, we knew that Michael's was there, but we also found an AC Moore in a nearby mall that was only a couple miles away. And I looked in the Michael's, and I saw this watercolor brush. They had a bunch of them, the Zen line by Royal Langnickel, and this brush was, I think, $4 or $5. And I just thought it looked really good. It had long hairs, looked like it would come to a nice point, and it was synthetic, because I don't like to buy sables and animal hair brushes that come from the fur trade. So I thought I'd give this a try and let you know if it's worth anything. They do have multi-packs and value packs and stuff, but I thought I'd start with one and just see how it is. So I'll be using that fairly soon. Thought it was kind of just something fun and new to try, and it has the acrylic handle so you can do scraping. I don't know if this is a plastic or a resin handle or painted wood, but it feels like it's probably plastic. And then while I was there, I also got these glass tiles because, let's open it up and see. They're Art Mines. They were $1.99. And, oh, goodness gracious, I can't get it open. But they're just kind of some translucent tiles that I thought would be really pretty to, like, maybe put some collage elements behind and put a bail on and just make some nice pendants. They just looked kind of fun, and we don't have these in our stores near here, so I thought that'd be fun to try. And then when I found AC Moore, I had a 50% off coupon, and one of the things I was going to try to find this weekend were the Winsor Newton pigment markers, because I've had a lot of people ask me, what's the deal with them? Are they alcohol markers? Are they watercolor markers? What makes them so special? And they're expensive. They're like $8 a pop. And they don't have a very strong odor. I just sniffed it, in case you couldn't grasp that because you're looking at my hands, not my face. I just smelled the marker, and it doesn't really have a strong odor. I did kind of scribble them out a little bit, and they wipe off of plastic after they're dry, kind of like a dry erase marker. They also seem kind of like a chalk marker, but their claim to fame is that they have light fastness of over 100 years, or up to like 100 years or so light fastness. So I just got the bright assortment. I used my 50% off coupon and my teacher's discount, bringing it to $18, which is still quite a bit to spend on 6 markers, but they have a white blender instead of a colorless blender. So I have some Winsor Newton marker paper. I'm going to give it a whirl. I might need to get the pigment marker paper, but I'm going to see if what I have works before I go and spend money on that. But that was something I wanted to try, and I was happy to be able to get it for over 50% off. And then I wanted some watercolor paper to play with, because we all get together every night that we go down for the convention in the breakfast room in the hotel, and we craft together, and I realized I didn't have any watercolor paper. So I thought I would try this little tablet of Strathmore wind power watercolor paper. You get more sheets in the pad for the same amount of money, and I just wanted a small pad, so I thought I would try that. I don't know if it's any good or not, but we'll see. I'll review that in this brush in the near future, and we can have a look at it, see if it's worth the money, because it's, you know, you get a couple extra sheets for the same price, but if it's not any good, then, you know, we'll figure that out. We'll find out. That's what I'm here for. So that was all I got at the big box stores. I really like to spend my money when I can at smaller places. So let's go on to what I found at the stamp show. One of my first stops was Local King Rubber Stamps. I really enjoy their products, and I have their other goldfish set that I got last year, and they always have a buy 4 get the 5th free. And I'm not a big fan of dies now that I have a scan and cut machine, so I can, you know, just cut whatever I want with that or cut it with scissors. I think it's a more bang for my buck to buy the stamps. That's not, you know, it might be more bang for your buck to buy the dies. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. Personally, for me, I'd rather have the stamps. And the stamps these were $15.99 a set, and the dies I think were $24.99. So for me, I'd rather spend my money on the stamps. So I got this pretty goldfish. Plus, I don't always die cut everything. A lot of times I build a scene and I keep it flat. So, And I have their first chicken stamp set. That was the first stamp set of theirs I bought 5 years ago. And I just thought this would go really well with that set and make that set more useful. And then they had this little kit here with the chicken wire and the coop and the little fence and grass. And I thought these are all going to work really well together, and it's going to make what I already have more useful. And then, oh, I wanted to show you, because the stamps are bigger than what they look like on the package. This, I don't have any orchids. I thought this was really elegant, and as you can see, they're pretty decent sized stamps, and these are great for that, the marker technique. It's a technique they show a lot in their booth. I would recommend catching a demo by them if you can, or taking a class. She's the owners are really sweet and funny and entertaining. So I thought that would be nice for quick and easy cards. I tend to do a lot of quick and easy cards personally for my just as a hobby, and those are always nice. And then I've had my eyes on this big cuckoo clock for a long time, and it kind of seems a little silly, but I like it. And it's got, you can put a like a little Santa head or a cupcake or a little owl, a traditional owl, like on a pop dot or a spring if you want, or just you could even have it pop up inside a card. I think it would be really cute, and it's got 3 little sentiments, so I thought that would just be really fun to play with. So I got it, because I think I got that one for my freebie, and that's what I got there. Okay. Oh, the next thing I want to share, this is kind of a funny story. So I don't have a close to my heart representative. I don't have anybody in my area that does it. So every year I go to this lady Denise, her booth, and if there's I'll put a link to everything I show you in the video description, so you can go through. Just remember the names that I'm telling you, and then go check out the links. So she has buy two get one free, even on like the deals and stuff. So I went back like 3 times. It was crazy. So the first time, what did I do? The first time I was checking out the $10 bin, and I thought these were really pretty, and these are the high quality clear stamps, so I can use markers on them and do the silhouette stamping that way. I really liked that set. I thought that was really pretty. This is one I got in I got these 3 the first time. So these were, so for 20 bucks I got these 3 sets basically. And I like these vintage cameras. I thought they would be really fun. I like the little Polaroid frame that's there, and I just thought this would be really useful and just kind of fun. And I have a few camera stamps, but these are just, they're a little different. I like the little Polaroid. I liked it. And I also like retro stuff, and I thought that car and that little bug with the little bus was just really adorable. And then I really like nautical stuff, and you'll see that throughout my haul today. I have quite a few nautical things I've picked up. I really like the stylized octopus. I have a couple other octopus stamps, but they're more like the vintage kind of steampunky stamp, and I just thought the octopus and this little crab was so stinking cute. And I just thought it was something I would really use a lot, even though it's 20 bucks, a little expensive. I knew I would use it. And then I also got these hand-drawn seashells. I thought they were really pretty, and I know I would use them. And something I want to try, and I'll kind of show you some other stamps I'm thinking about. Well, I'll explain that with the other stamps, because it makes more sense with the other stamps. And then there was a third one, but that was a gift for a friend. And then, so my last trip, so when I went back and I bought those, she goes, "You were here before." And she raises her eyebrow. She goes, "You've spent enough to get a free pack of paper." And this is gorgeous paper. It's very ladylike, and I told myself I'm not buying any scrapbook paper, but this doesn't count because I didn't buy it, and she just gave it to me. But there's some really pretty designs in here, and they're the colors that I love, and I love the feminine designs. I like the gold foil, and I'm probably just going to keep this together, and then if I'm going to go scrapbook with a friend or something, I'll just take that with me, and I grab a set of stamps and just go to town. And then, so the last 3 stamp sets I got, so I'm going and I'm chatting with her, and she rings me up, and I get my wallet out to pay, and I open it up, and she asks me, "Do you have a business card?" And so I go to find a business card, and then she hands me my bag, and I close up my wallet, and I walk away, and I go, "Oh my gosh." I turned to Kathy, I said, "Oh, I don't think I paid her." And Kathy goes, "I don't think you did either, but then she gave you the bag, so I thought you must have." And so I turned around and I walked back to the booth. I said, "I don't think I paid you." And she goes, "I don't think you did either, but I didn't want to say anything." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she's so sweet." I was just like so glad I remembered it, because she wasn't going to say anything, that dear heart. I couldn't believe it. So she also gave me this free with purchase, and I thought these would just be fun for little inchies. Probably the girls will use them. They're cute. They were just a free gift with purchase. And then I just kept coming back and looking at the set, and I kept putting it back, and I go back and look, and I put it back, and I said, "You know what?" And I saw how they had made some cards where they had kind of stacked them and layered them behind each other, and I'm like, you know what? Even though I could probably draw that out, I think that's really cute, and I like it. So I got it. And so I bought this and this. So this one was 16. This was 13. I thought those were really cute, and I still end up making a lot of kids' birthday cards, even though my kids are they're old enough that I'm not scrapbooking their little pictures. I've already done that. They're little kid pictures, but we do a lot of birthday cards. And it's great to have a set that you can just grab quickly for a quick birthday card. And this is another one I kept coming back to, but then I saw a card made up with it, and it was so adorable, and it was made with that paper that she gave me. And I'm like, and what they did was they stamped it and gold embossed it, you know, stacked the layers of the cake and gold embossed it and watercolored it and mounted it on those papers, and it was so classy and fun and pretty. And I'm like, you know what, for $10, even if I make 5 cards, I know I could sell them in my booth, and they would be great. I better check to make sure they're an Angel company. I'm pretty sure they are, but you know, I just have handy birthday cards. I just really liked it. So that was my big purchase that close to my heart. Let's see, what do we want to do next? Oh, what do I want to do next? Let's look at what I got at Lost Coast Designs. Linda was my friend at Lost Coast Designs, and we met at the stamp show 5 years ago. And I mean, she's always been my favorite. One of my favorite booths. I love her quirky stamps, and now she owns Carmen's Veranda, so she has both lines. She has 2 booths. She has both lines there. So I think I'll be showing you the Lost Coast first and then the Carmen's Veranda. It'll be hard to see probably with the rubber, but I'll try to tip it so you can, and I'll explain. So here I've got a chickadee with a top hat on a holly branch, and it's got Christmas lights in its beak, and I just thought that would be really sweet for Christmas cards. This would be the kind that I'd want to stamp a bunch out now and just kind of keep them in a basket on the coffee table and color them as I had the time. I don't do too many elaborately colored ones for Christmas cards, but those would be like the special ones. But it's such a sweet image. You could probably see that pretty well there. I'll put a link to her shop, and also, since she owns both stores, but they're 2 different websites, if you email her or just put a note in the comments when you order that you're ordering, that you've placed an order at the other store too, if it's over $100, you'll get free shipping. She'll refund you the shipping. Or if you don't make that much, say you order 25 here and 10 there or whatever, she'll refund you one of the shipping costs and ship it together, so you don't have to pay that extra. She's really sweet, so don't hesitate to email her if you need anything. This is this little sidewalk crack I thought was really cute. She actually did a whole series of birds they're called like little cracked birds and cracked fragments, I think. They're just really funky and like whimsical, and I just thought they were very interesting, and I've had my eye on them for a while, but they have them in bigger singles, but I thought the little set would be more useful to me. And then she has these new line of birds, and again, she has them as larger stamps, but I think for me, I really like making bookmarks. Or cards with like a little kind of image in the center, and I just thought these were really cute. And again, you know, if you click over on the link I put in the video description, you can see the new images, and these will be on the new image page. And yeah, I thought I would use them to be really cute. Now for Carmen's Veranda, I got this really big keyhole because I thought it'd be fun to stamp a scene within the keyhole, so it's like you're peeking in. And then I got Alfred Hitchcock because I thought he would be really cute inside the keyhole, you know, because it's like a mystery and stuff. I thought that'd be fun. And then I got her the Carmen's Veranda, and I also had the Lost Coast Design Wizard of Oz sets, which are fantastic. But I also got last year the tall characters from Wizard of Oz, but I didn't get the flying monkey, so I picked him up. And I also picked up this Greetings from Oz postcard. They have the bigger postcard size one, but I got this one because I thought I would do a postoid of it, and actually maybe do a postcard with with some of my other stamps from the Lost Coast line. This is Carmen's Veranda, and kind of put that in the corner so it looks like a postcard, but this would be an accent, like a stamp on the postcard. So that's what I have in my mind that I want to work on. And then they have all the Dick and Jane characters. And my kids, I know they're like the boringest books ever, right? But they're so sweet. And my kids actually liked reading the Dick and Jane anthology when they were little. So I've got Sally and Spot and Tim the teddy bear and Dick and Jane and Puff, and I just think I could use them for different things. They would be very sweet on a baby card, but I love vintage characters, so I just couldn't resist. So that was my Lost Coast Designs and Carmen's Veranda. And you know what? I'm gonna email Linda and ask her if I can have a coupon code for you guys. So look in the video description, and I'm gonna put a coupon. I think she said I could have a coupon code for you guys, so hang tight. Check out the video description, and I'll put all that information down there for any of the sites that I know that have coupon codes too, because I want this industry to thrive. And if you let them know that I heard about this on the Frugal Crafter, because she came to the stamp show, it's going to tell them that it matters to go to stamp. It matters to keep having these stamp shows and to keep vending at them. So another favorite is Rubbernecker, and I never would have found out about them if it wasn't for a stamp show. So I really want the stamp shows to survive and thrive. And what I really love about their stamps is I love their watercolor stamps. That's their thing. That is what they before we go that my friend Linda, Lost Coast Designs, there we go, I'm just gonna put that right up there so you can kind of see that information in case you're not watching it on YouTube. But she has started a new website. I don't know actually, you know what, now I'm wondering if I shouldn't. I'll have to ask her, and if she says it's okay, I'll share the link in the video description too. But she's getting a website for artists going, so I'll ask her if it's okay if I share it, and then I'll share it in the video description. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that. So anyways, they do a lot of, Rubbernecker does a lot of watercolor type products, and they use a lot of color bursts now with their lines. And so this is a new line of the color burst powders, which I will be reviewing and trying out, doing some backgrounds with. I haven't used these yet. I've used the other ones from Rubbernecker, the color bursts that I got at Rubbernecker last year, and I really like the applicator bottles. They're a more intense color. It just depends on what you like for what kind of powders you like. Brush Show and Color Burst are very intense and bold colors. Nuance is subtle and more ethereal. So it just depends on what you like, really. I'm not, you know better than me what you're going to use. And I haven't used these liquid metals, and I thought they were powder, but for some reason it didn't click that liquid metal is right in the title. But they have these over at Rubbernecker too, and so I've got these to try out as well. And they have a bunch of these, they have so many of these watercolor stamps now. They released, I got some a couple of years ago, and they released more, and I got some of those last year. They just keep coming out with new tempting things. But I thought these leaves are really sweet. I love organic natural things. I find them to be my most versatile and useful stamps. And so I picked up these. And also these little flowers. So these are, a lot of these are kind of like two-part sets where you get a background, right? And you can color that up with alcohol markers, ink pad. Watercolor markers, ink pads, color burst powders. You can do paint direct on there with your powders and water. And you stamp that layer down, and then you can stamp the other layer on top and emboss it, or just keep it dark and crisp, or do even a gold embossing or silver embossing or black embossing powder. It's just really pretty and versatile and very quick. And I'm finding nowadays I do a lot more quick and easy projects. And I'll put a link to Rubbernecker, and I think they have a free shipping offer too. Again, I will check that out and make sure I put any deals. Maybe I'll give them an email and see if I can give you a special deal. I don't know. We'll see. I think I can get you a free shipping anyway. And then I saw these, and I thought those were really sweet. And of course, you can mix these together. Oh, so what I was telling you I wanted to do with these, I was thinking because I sell a lot of my little watercolor paintings at an antique mall. I have a booth in an antique mall, and I thought I might cut a bunch of white mats that are just kind of like a standard size so I could quickly mat my watercolors. But then I thought I would take these stamps and I would stamp with watercolors on the mats and just kind of make them a little bit more decorative and make them kind of funky. And I thought that might be really pretty inside my booth, kind of on display, and might help sell my paintings a little bit more. And then if people don't like the patterned mat, they can always switch it out for a different mat. But I just thought it'd be kind of fun. And there's so many different designs. But you use the same colors on a bunch of different flowers. Like these are all kind of daisy-like. You can mix and match them and use them together, especially on something like wrapping paper or a mat or a scrapbook page. And then these are very simple. And yes, I could draw them, but I was just seeing how quickly he was making these cards and just stamping this out on the outside. And then he had these like shadow frames where he'd stamp the shadow frame with a color burst, and then he would go over it with black on one of these frames, just stamp on top of it, and then stamp a sentiment inside. And it was just such a pretty look. So so I grabbed them. And a couple of these outlines, I think these would be really pretty just kind of to accent with some of these watercolor stamps. And they actually had a card on display which they had embossed, like say the outline, let's say it's this one, and it was the outline. They embossed that in silver after the watercolor was dry, and then they'd stamp that as well and emboss that in silver, and it was just really pretty, and I liked it. So so I grabbed those. And something else I do at the stamp show, as long as it's allowed by the vendors, which it usually is I will photograph the card that I was inspired by the product by. So if I love this product and I buy it, then I'm like, well, I better take a picture of something, or I'm gonna forget why I bought the product, because that's what I hear from my girlfriends all the time. They're like, I don't know why I bought these. I saw a really great demo. I hope that, and then they'll come back, they go, I hope that person's here this year, because I'm gonna have to ask them how I did that. So that's another great reason to go to a stamp show. You get to know the vendors and the people year after year, which is really cool. And I did get, everybody has cling foam, which is really wonderful because it just makes your stamps really clingable on your clear blocks. I got that at Lost Coast. And she has that on her website too, I think. Pretty sure. Sometimes I just use some aliens, tack it over and over glue on the backs of my stamps. It just depends on how quickly I need to stamp something. Sometimes I glue stick it to the back of an acrylic block and call it a day and then deal with it another day. All right, let's go on to the rest of the haul. All right, another place that I went is Technique Junkies, and if you've been stamping for a long time, you probably know Pat Stamps. She used to do the Technique Junkies newsletter, and now I think she has all that stuff on her blog that anyone can subscribe to for free. And she bought the Stamp Camp line of stamps, which is another one of my favorites from many years ago, but they closed. And I'm always just finding some really nice things in her booth, and I find them to be very versatile and useful. So I'll show you what I got there. I don't know why that wasn't that bad because that wasn't from Technique Junkies, but we'll get to that in a minute. I really love carnival themed things, circus themed things. I like Americana, I like nautical. This background would go with all of those themes. So this is called Circus Stars, and I got that. I find backgrounds to be very useful and versatile, so I tend to, I kind of keep my eyes open for unique ones. Now, another thing I've been doing a lot lately is jelly printing, and I end up with these really cool gelatin prints that are, they're really interesting, they're great, but they're not on their own good enough for a card. But if I was to stamp this over it, like this old bridge, that's kind of fun. That would give like a lot of interest if it was like sunset colors, or even if I did a brayered background, I could stamp this on one of my jelly prints and have a really nice card that wasn't too girly or too boyish, or it would just be nice and artsy. And that's also the reason I picked up this. Extremely graphic. It would also be really cool to, you know, stamp this down on a really fun jelly printed background and then emboss a texture over it, I think, and then mount it on some craft cardstock. I think that would be really neat looking. And then this, same deal, on top of a jelly print. I think this would be beautiful. And it's it's just this like Ferris wheel. And this was part of the Palatini collection designed by my friend Sally Lynn McDonald, and she was actually there demoing the gel press, which we'll get to that in a little bit. She's delightful. She has a website too. I highly recommend following it. But I thought that would be really pretty on top of a jelly printed paper, gelatin printed paper. And this Union Jack, I have some small single stamps that are London themed, and I love, you know, British TV. I love Doctor Who and Sherlock, and I just think it's a fun theme. And I have like double-decker buses and phone booths and funny things like that that I think would be neat to kind of have this as a background or just a layer tucked underneath one of my focal images. So it's making other things I have more useful. That's kind of what I look for. I try to find items that's going to make my other things more useful. Since I've been stamping so long, I resisted any grab bags, even though some people got some great grab bags and grab boxes. I know how much I have, and I need to be very selective. And it probably doesn't look like I'm being very selective, but trust me, if you knew what I wanted and what I came home with, you know, I was being selective. And it was funny because going to the show so many years and talking about it a lot on my videos, you know, people come and they say hello and they know I'm going to be there. And sometimes people watch me shop. And one of my friends overheard a lady talking. She goes, I saw her shopping and she was putting things back and she was being very, very thoughtful with her purchases. And I was like, oh, thank goodness I wasn't going crazy when anyone saw me. And this was another one. And this, I saw them doing a make and take with this stamp, and it was really beautiful, and so I grabbed it because I was just seeing everybody's tags as they were waiting in line to pay that they had just created, and these students' artwork sold me on this stamp. And they also have, like, you know, the spend 50, get a free background, and buy 6, get 1 free. And I did get one other stamp there, but it's a present, so I can't show that. I don't want to ruin the surprise. And I looked at this last year, and it reminded me of chair caning, and I've been using my stencils so much, and I don't have anything like this, so I grabbed it. And I've also discovered that I use smaller stencils so much more than my larger 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11 stencils, so I'm just buying the smaller ones for the most part now, because that's what I use. You may be completely different. You may be stenciling furniture or stenciling, you know, curtains or walls and want the bigger ones, but for me, for the stuff I do, even working on a larger jelly plate, like an 8 by 10 jelly plate, I'm still using the smaller ones much more than the larger ones. So I buy what I'm going to use, and it's not necessarily what you would use or you would want. Okay, so most of the stamp companies I'm showing you are independent stores. I mean, they're independent stamp lines. You know, they're mom and pop companies. They, you know, they make pretty much most of the living doing stamp shows, and they usually have websites too. Sometimes you go to the stamp show, and they'll be like stores. And let me see. one of those stores, I can't remember what the store was called, but they had this line of stamps called Darcy's Heart and Home, and they were very adorable. And I usually don't do too cutesy, but for whatever reason, that stinking popsicle I thought was just too adorable, and that little fruity drink and a little snow cone. And I grabbed that. My friend, and it was so funny because my friend Cindy grabbed another one that had cocktails in it that I was eyeballing, and I was also eyeballing this coffee one. And my friend Cindy got it, so I'm like, well, I think we're all set because we can just trade and share or have a stamp night or something, which is the best thing. Just get together and bring your stamps and share. So I only got one, but I thought it was really cute. I'm sure you could probably find that company online. They weren't there, but one of the vendors had their stamps. And so sometimes when you go to that, you have like a store that sells different things. I also picked up Tim Holtz Distress Crayons, and this isn't something. Remember, my YouTube channel is my business, and part of my business, and I've been asked to review these a lot. And I haven't seen them in the big box stores. Otherwise, I would have got them with a coupon, since it's not like an independent company product that I would want to buy from the company at a stamp show. So I grabbed these to review on the channel and compared them to the Target gel crayons. And while I've got that thought, and the Recollections ones, and these actually are one of my students who took a class last year, Miriam. She had been shopping, and she said she found these at her Michael's on clearance. They're regular, like, $20 or $25, I'm not sure, and they were on clearance for $7.50, and she grabbed 2 packages and asked me if I wanted one, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll pay you at the stamp show. So she brought these for me and refused to take my money. Thank you, Miriam, you're awfully sweet. And so actually I haven't used them yet, but some of my students did, because I'm like, you guys want to try them? Let's try them, in one of my classes. So I'm going to compare these to the Distress Crayons and also to the Target ones, and I got another set that looks very much like this that I picked up at a bookstore, but the colors were more pastel. So we're going to compare all of them along with like the Prima oil pastels and the Portfolio water-soluble oil pastels, because sometimes you might have a product at home that will work just as well or do a very similar thing. We'll do the gelatos too. We'll do them all together so you can see the differences between each product and see what's best for you. I was actually only going to get these, but I have wholesale privileges because I work for one of the stamp companies there, so I was able to get them at less than sticker price, thank goodness, because that's a lot to spend on crayons, people. But anyway, so there's that. And let's see what else. Oh, there's another interesting little stamp store, and I'm trying to make sure I keep all my receipts together because this is a business, so I gotta keep those receipts. There's a little company called Our Daily Bread, and a lot of their stamps are religious themed, but not all of them. They also carry Artistic Outpost, and I love this bottle cap background. I kept coming back to it, and it was kind of expensive, but it is a decent sized stamp. And I could also use each bottle cap as an individual image, so I grabbed it. And then it was also buy 5 get 1 free in that booth. And then the seed packet I thought was darling because I have so many flower stamps, and all those ones I got at Rubbernecker I thought would go really great inside here. Plus I have a lot of flower stamps. I really enjoy natural images like that, organic images. So I thought that seed packet would be really pretty, and it would make my other stamps more useful. And I have another seed packet, but it's like probably about half the size from Paper Tray Ink. It's really small. So I got that so I could stamp my other flowers in there. Then, like I said, I kept coming back to the sand dollar, and the reason I waited was because I wasn't sure if I just wanted to buy the sand dollar and the bottle caps, and then I was like, well, I really want that seed packet too. And it's like, well, do I want to buy one more just to get one free? Sometimes those deals pull you in, and it's not the best idea. But I knew I liked a lot of the things in their booth, so I decided to wait to the second day to come back and really think about it. And there was a sand dollar in another booth, but I thought about getting that one because they had a similar buy 3 get 1 free, but I really like this one the best, so I decided to just get the 2 stamps I wanted in the other booth and come back here and get that sand dollar because it was just so detailed and pretty and unique, and yeah, I just thought that was great. Now they do have this with some scripture sentiments, I think, with it, or some kind of faith-based sentiments, but I was really just interested in the image, so I got the image. And I think these also came in a set with sentiments if you preferred, but I prefer to have just the images, and they're good size images. I thought this was just a little ATC size, but when I looked at it I was really impressed. And since I do sell my cards, and again I'm going to have to check on the Angel policy, I'm pretty sure they allow sale of handmade stamps. But I thought that'd be a very quick card to do on like a jelly printed background or something. I just really like that collage. I enjoy nautical themed stuff, and it also sells well in my booth. So there was that. And let's see, what was in here? Oh, Eyelet Outlet is a store that sells online, and I always find a few things from them. I got some vintage fans and rotary telephone brads. I got some little owls. These were half price. I think the full price is $3, and then I got some, like, these were $1 or $1.50. I thought that would be a cute accent on a Christmas card. And then they had lobster buoys. These were $1.50 a pack. These were $1. I thought those will be perfect on some of my cards. And these little sock monkeys were on clearance for $1.50, and they're little happy birthday sock monkeys. And I have a nice big sock monkey stamp that I like to use for kids' birthday cards. And I just thought these feathers were pretty. They were $1. And I think they're neutral enough, generic enough that I could use them on all kinds of cards. Like with a card with a bird or something. And I have plenty of birds. Let's see, did we look in there? Yes, we looked in that already. Let's see what's in here. Oh, so there was another little shop. This was from Creative Vision. They also had a sand dollar, but I didn't like the sand dollar as much as I like the Our Daily Bread one. And sometimes if you're buying more just to get a free one or just to save, if you're just buying it because you don't want to leave a deal on the table, that's not a good idea. So I really liked the seahorse. It was kind of expensive. It was $6.50, which I think is kind of high for one mounted stamp, but I really like it, and I'm going to use it. So, and the girl doing demos there did some beautiful things by like direct coloring with the zig markers and then stamping, and then going in with a pen after it was drying, just highlighting an eye or just a little detail. It was really, she had a really nice demo girl there in her booth. And her stamps were gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. They are high quality and gorgeous stamps. But they weren't like making me, because there are a lot of animals and I don't do much stamps of animals. So, I just got the seahorse because I really like that. And they had it in a couple different sizes, but that's what I really wanted. So, and the more you have, the more choosy you have to be. If you're a beginner and you don't have many, it probably makes more sense. It would make more sense for you to buy the extra one and get one free. But for me, it didn't. So that's that story. And I kind of felt bad because I was like, well, if I just buy one more, and it's like, Lindsay, you don't need one more. There's not two more that you really want to have. You're just going to be making your stamp binders thicker without having something that you really want. So this is one I looked at last year. This is the place where I bought my stained glass stamp that you could stamp. It was a stained glass pattern. You could stamp over something else and turn it into a stained glass stamp. And I like these plaid makers, but I was thinking you had to buy a bunch of them, and this one stamp was $10.50, and that's, again, a lot of money for a stamp as far as I'm concerned. But then they had a girl demoing, which is why a really good reason to go to the shows so you can see how things are used, and she cut this stamp up and put them each on their own clear block. And because I saw these beautiful backgrounds she had made, all these plaid backgrounds, and I said, would you mind telling me how many stamps you're using for that? And she goes, just one. And she showed me how she cut it apart. And then she also took the pieces off and put them together on one block. They put back together really well. So she could stamp them all as one or as two pieces, or take them apart and stamp them in different colors. And even though this was kind of expensive, I know I'll use it a lot. So that made it worthwhile. Of course, you have to decide whether it's worth it for you. These do have a texture on them, like a thread texture. So I bought this as opposed to just, carving strips of rubber myself. I thought that really does look like fabric when it's stamped out, so I grabbed that from DRS Designs. And let's see, this was interesting. This was in the Versus booth, but the company that makes this is Designs by Rin. And I'd seen some people talking about this stamp set online, and I'd seen it stamped, and it's really beautiful. And it's just water droplets, and I thought it'd be nice to stamp on top of my my gelatin prints that I've been obsessing about. I like jelly printing. I don't know what it is. I like gelatin printing back when we were doing it with gelatin, and I'm kind of addicted to the gel presses and the jelly plates. I have a problem, clearly. I'm going to teach a class on it so I can justify how many jelly plates I have. I'm going to have to. And I grabbed this. I think I also got that at the Versus booth, but you can find these anywhere. This is just, I don't have anything like, reminds me of the quilt baby block, building block style. And so I don't have anything like it, and I like small stencils. I don't have any of these tag-shaped stencils like this. I don't know how useful I'll find it, but we'll see. We'll see. And I saw Stencil Girl using this in a free free class that she has on her website, and I really liked what she did with it. So I snagged it. And they also had to buy 5 stencils, get 1 free, but I'm like, no, I do not need 6 more stencils. I'm just going to buy the 2 that I really like and move on. Speaking of stencils, these were in the Marco's paper booth, and I have last year's release where it was 10 stencils and they're paper, but they're all still working, and I use them on my jelly plate, and I use them with acrylic paint, and the more paint I get coated on there, the better they are. So it's got, well, I'll just hold this up right now, and you can see the different designs there. They're 6x6 stencils, again, the size I like, and I just found they get really durable when I use them with acrylic paint, so you can't beat 10 stencils for $6.95. And then I actually won their giveaway. They give you a ticket after you pay, and if you come back at 3, they might, they'll pull tickets out and you might win. And I won 2 Wink of Stella pens, and then I could choose what colors I want. So I chose a clear and a gold shimmer. So that was, I've never won one of those. I was so excited. And I also got this stencil from another booth because I thought that was pretty. And I got this stencil because I also thought it was pretty. And another reason, because yes, I can cut stencils with my die cutter, but to cut really fine ones like that out of plastic would be aggravating and would dull my blade. So I decided I would just grab those too, because there's something you use over and over again. And Amy's Magic was there, and she's the one that is famous for the gold leaf, and it glitters and things like that. But I saw these anchors, and these were a little expensive, but again, if it's expensive but you're going to use every one, it's better than buying something that's a bargain and never touching it again. And this was $6 for this sheet of gold stamped foil. But see, Amy's Magic is the person, Paper Charms. But I know I would use it with my nautical cards, and I like the texture, and I like that it looks kind of like metal, but it's not going to add weight on my cards that I mail. So I thought that was a great deal. And then I know I'm missing some things. Have I shown? Oh yes, this was from there was a little booth I did a make and take. And I always feel a little obligated to buy something if somebody tells me how to do something, or I do a make and take. I always feel like, oh, I gotta buy something, because I can, and they gave me information, and I feel that's a good way to repay it. So I made this little tile, and this company it's called Craft Fantastic, and it does jewelry. Oh my gosh, my brain's fried. It does jewelry. And I got the charms, these big charms, and these glass baubles to go over them. They're nice tray, and they don't smell, sometimes brass smells. And of course they tried to upsell me on their special glue and glue dots and everything. And I'm like, no, I'm all set. Whoa, but all this other glue's gonna yellow. It's like, I know what I have for glue. You know what you have at home. Don't let a salesperson upsell you to something that you don't need. So I'm just saying that, you know what you have at home, they don't. And I just wanted to mention that, because in case you're at a show, don't feel like you have to buy what they tell you should buy. Buy what you know you need. And then I'd seen a really pretty technique, and I really like these quickie glue pens, and I'd asked how they did it. It was they had these stamped cards by Northwoods, and they had colored them with like Copics, and then they had these everywhere you walked and you looked at them and they shimmered and sparkled at you. They had taken the glue pen here and there, added just little bits of the glue, waited for it to go clear because it starts out blue. And I use this with gold foil. It's really nice to use with your your Heidi Swap foils and deco foils and whatnot. So I know I would use this pen again because I have one and I love it. And then they sprinkle it with the ultrafine glitter, and they rub their fingers over it just to burnish it down, and then it just catches the light and sparkles, and it stays put, and it was just a really pretty effect. I wanted to know how to do it, and they told me how to do it without expecting me to buy anything in return. And so I bought a little pot of glitter, even though I have enough glitter to glitter my walls, because I wanted the information. I know this glitter is going to do the job, and I really appreciated that they took the time to tell me how to do it, so I figured out how to buy something. But I would say don't feel obligated, don't, if you have a pushy salesperson. But I say if somebody's being very helpful, then I would. As I mentioned, I really love the gelatin plates that are made, the permanent ones that are made with mineral oil. And Gel Press was there, and their plates are cheaper than Jelly Arts. And from what I understand, it doesn't contain any animal products, which I really appreciate. Even though, my kids eat meat, so I wouldn't have a problem with gelatin. My kids eat Jell-O, as a matter of fact. but I do really enjoy these, and yeah, it might be a little frivolous, but I like them, and I plan on doing a class on these. And so I got the smaller one because I like having the different sizes because I like the raw edges. And then this plate, now this is going to seem extreme. This was expensive. This was $50, but the Jelly Arts one, the cheapest I've ever seen it is like $65 on like online on like Blick or something, on sale, and you can't use coupons on it. So it's like this was $50. It was much less than you know, what I would pay elsewhere, and I wanted a really big one, but I was just kind of waiting for the price to go down. Plus Sally was there demoing, and I was just really appreciating the information I was getting from her, and so I got it. You know, I wanted it and I bought it, and I'm an adult with a job and no debt, so so I got that. So yeah, those are the things that I bought. I think I showed you everything. And so that was my very long haul. I didn't expect it to be this long. Really, I mean, 40 minutes of just going through all this stuff. But I also wanted to just let you know why I bought things, because you guys have told me that you find that very helpful to know why I bought certain things and what were you thinking? What I was thinking when I selected them, because you may have similar products and be like, oh, I never thought to do that with it. And again, that's one of the great things about going to a stamp show, is that you get to see demos and you get to see samples that like their company has made or the designers have made, and it just gives you a different idea on how to use things. Most of the booths are really good about you taking pictures of their samples so that you can remember why you bought this stamp. I bought this stamp for a reason. What was it? You know, so you can take a picture of your inspiration. And I mean, so many of these booths had such beautiful things, and sometimes, you know, go for the inspiration even if you don't have any money to spend or you don't have a lot of money to spend. If you have a stamp show near you, just to walk around and look at the samples and get some ideas for the stamps that you have at home, you know, the information is valuable. And I was so happy to see that it was a really busy show and that the vendors are doing very well, even though it gets smaller every year. It really scares me that it gets smaller every year, because I think this community can grow and blossom again. It was huge 15 or 20 years ago. I think it can be really huge again. We just need to let people know that these shows exist. And if you're watching this video today and you decided you're going to click on one of those links below and check out one of these booths I bought from, mention that you heard about them here because I went to a stamp show. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I mean, I never would have found Our Daily Bread. I never would have found Rubbernecker. I never would have found Linda from Lost Coast Designs. We're buddies now, and I never would have known her had I not gone to a stamp show 5 years ago for the first time. And if you can go with a friend or meet up with friends there, it just really makes it a wonderful experience. I feel like we enter as strangers and we leave as friends. We all went out to dinner one night. It was so much fun just to get to know people and just to share our love for this awesome hobby. And, you know, even if you're not a stamper, there's a lot of mixed media now and scrapbooking now. You know, you can definitely find something, if you're a creative person, to kind of kindle that creative spark that you've got kind of burning inside of you. I hope you found this helpful. What would you like to see me use first? If you guys, you're eyeballing something that you really want to see, or maybe you want to see the Distress Crayon comparison review, just let me know in the comments below. I will kind of use that information to decide what I film next, because I get a lot of ideas, but not a lot of things filmed at the moment to publish. So just let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you hanging on this long and watching. Thanks so much. Until next time, happy crafting.